The whole thing is like this has been the pattern for Nala. Is she goes on podcasts specifically that she thinks will not have follow-ups, which will allow us to give our side. To date, there has not been a single podcast which she's been on bitching about us where they've actually reached out to myself or Brian to get our side of the story. Not a single time. And this is objectively hilarious because we, both of us, me and Brian both, have much larger followings than Nala does. Much, much larger followings. We're much more connected in the media space. So it's really bizarre that they would want to have her on to talk her shit, but not allow anybody else to come on to clear the air or refute it.
Don't you think that's weird? I bet she thinks it's weird. This is a change. The fact that Andrew, Brian, these men have bigger followings than 304 Nala must be breaking their brains, because the shift is people are starting to follow strong men again. People are starting, because we have the internet. It's just not simp enablers in front of our faces all the time. We have real masculinity that is not being torn down. They're trying, but there's so much following behind it now. And the fact that a Christian, strong-willed, highly principled man like Andrew has a larger following than OF chick over there, that's great. And it must be very confusing for them. And if you think too that this dude, George Jenko right here, isn't also trying to hitch himself to, what he thinks Nala is this big superstar, because that used to be how it was. You take off your clothes and now you're the biggest star. And it might work over there in OF and in 304 world, but it's going by the wayside. People are starting to say no. And somebody like Nala Ray, who did the flipperoni, and now she's Mother Teresa, is helping us to move away from it, because the fakery is right in our faces. And people are rejecting it and calling it out, thanks to people like Andrew Wilson, who's calling it out publicly.
And I just noticed that there's a trend with that. And I think that it is probably going to be malicious with Jenko as well. I don't think that he's going to actually have me and Rachel on the podcast. No. I don't think he's going to allow us to give our side whatsoever. And I don't actually blame him, because he's going to look really stupid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, would you be willing to do it in a more of a discussion format rather than a debate format where you just tell him what the pieces that he's missing and give him a chance to be a good
I wouldn't go into debate. I'd go in to discuss it. But either way, he's going to look stupid because he didn't do any of his due diligence. And instead, right now, what he's doing is he's running his mouth about things he doesn't know anything about and pretending that he does. And he needs to answer for that, right? So what I would say to him is like, you need to answer for this. You opened your big, stupid mouth and spewed a bunch of bullshit and horse shit, and you need to correct that. And, like him and most of these guys, they don't like it when you point that out. So
do you think that Nala could get a spot on the Protestant Avengers on the team?
Nala will forever be pushed by women who are in the Sewing Circle Christian group. And the reason for that is because they're actually all femcons, and their whole point with her is utilizing her as a spear point to as like a victory dance, right?
This is the part to really pay attention to. If you're still out there and you're still wanting to date and you're wanting to find a good woman, right? I will echo Rachel Wilson and say, if I knew how to find one, I'd be the richest woman in the world, because it's tricky. And these are the most dangerous ones. The ones in the Christian sewing circle, the ones that look at somebody like Nala and say, wow, look at her past. I mean, we can forgive her. Therefore, I'm basically sinless because my past isn't as bad as her past. That's why they hitch their wagons to that. That's why.
To lower the bar as well.
We did this. We were the ones who moved her away from this evil, heinous lifestyle, right? And so because of that, they're always going to be pushing her into the mainstream, even though nobody wants her. Christians don't want her there. Conservatives don't want her there. Liberals don't want her there. She doesn't have a brain in her head. She has no political takes. Like what are Nala's great political takes? None. What's her great religious takes? None. What's her great spiritual takes? None. The whole point of Nala being there is to spearhead the idea that, look, I was a whore and then I stopped being one because Christ told me to.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? Okay, yay. Everyone applauds. She gets on a plane, goes to the next place, tells them the same exact story. So the whole point is it's all about the testimonial, right?
Yeah.
And the problem is like the types of churches who want that, the testimonial, are usually very grifty churches as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Very simpy churches too. Very simpy, very feminized churches. Look the other way and water down the Bible. We're going to have a video coming up this week that is going to really drive home some of these expectations that the Bible puts on women. And a certain fellow by the name of Nick, last name begins with an F. I don't even know if I could say his name on YouTube without, some kind of demonetization. But because he's banned from YouTube. But anyways, he really lays it out strongly. I would love to see him and Andrew debate. But anyway, that's just a teaser for next week.